Striker Scorpion 82 is now sponsored by Warhammer Combat Cards, a card battle game featuring your favourite Citadel miniatures from the 40k universe. Free to download and play, link is in the video description below or on the channel homepage, and by using the unique link it helps support the channel. Thanks and enjoy the game. Right, welcome to this review for the Harlequins section of the new Aeldari Codex. A big thank you to Games Workshop for sending me a copy of this ahead of time. I've decided to split this up here because you've got Harlequins inside this book, and then you've also got Eldar and Ynnari as well. So check out the main video. That's going to be the Eldar section. So that's the main chunk of this book, but inside here is the Harlequins, so that's what this video is dedicated to covering. It will be a full review, so we'll go through all the rules, talk about tactics. I have a Harlequins army, and so to be looking to start formulating a new list and so on, what units to choose, combinations, relics, warlord traits, and sort of the tactica behind that. So I'll be coming from the angle of a Harlequins player here as we take a look at the Harlequins rules. So check out our sponsors for discount 40k. It's around about 20% off, sometimes more, from Goblin Gaming. Link for them in the video description below. When you use the link that takes you to their shop, then that does help the channel out in a small way and is much appreciated. It's discount 40k. It's a wide range of other gaming systems, hobby accessories, paints, brushes and so on, all available from them as well. So I think it's I've got my blank sheet ready for list writing. I've got two new lists. Obviously got Eldar and then Harlequins to work on as well from the same book. So exciting times ahead, Eldar and Harlequin players. Well, Eldar especially waiting a long time for the revamp. So I sort of go through all the artwork in the Eldar review, so we'll not go through all of that again. But Harlequins, there's no update for models for them. That's a fantastic range in plastic. I mean, Games Workshop really did a major revamp on them, and an incredible job, going from one troop master in metal and a troop, and then all of a sudden, and I guess Death Jesters as well, but then all of a sudden expand that into plastic. Fantastic work on the Harlequins. Not the most popular of factions. Quite rare you see them in games, but I'm a big fan of Harlequins. I do like them very much indeed. So it's moving along to here. So we'll start at this point here first of all. So Harlequin Detachment abilities. So Harlequin's Detachment is one that only includes models with the Harlequin's keyword, excluding models with the underlined keyword. Harlequin's Detachments gain the lead role ability. Sedef, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing this right. Sedef units and Harlequin's Detachments gain the Sedef characteristics ability. Troops units gain objectives secured. So that's going to be a Harlequin troop, for example. So lead role. If your army includes any troop master models, if your warlord is a Harlequin's model, that warlord must be a troop master. So you've got to make him the warlord. So that's fine. I usually do that anyway. So the Sedefs, or the Sedef. If your army's Battleforged, Sedef units in Harlequin's Detachments gain access to the following Sedef rules, provided every Sedef unit in your army following a Sedef is following the same Sedef. So it's like chapters and regiments and so on. If every Sedef unit in a Harlequin's Detachment is following the same Sedef, that detachment is referred to as a Sedef detachment. So there's basically three. There's light, dark and twilight. This is the way it's structured. All Sedef units and Sedef detachment will gain a Sedef characterization. On the following pages you'll find so that you get a unique warlord trait option, stratagems and relics. So where previously I played like Frozen Stars, for example, instead of that it's either light, dark or twilight is the way to go. So there's those three to choose from, so we'll see which one has the most appeal. I guess it's going to conform to your style of play. So I'm trying to think of my style of play for Harlequins. I guess it was mechanized infantry. I played it to larger blobs of troops. It was mechanised infantry moving about with gunboat support as well, and then not dependent, but 2 strong units of bikers, 2 good sized units of bikers I was using, and then a spread of characters, as well as mobile warfare, putting a fair bit of emphasis on firepower, and then delivering precision blows with units disembarking from transports of characters, and then making those surgical strikes. Was sort of the way I played with the Harlequins. So I like that style. It gives you it's a nice spread of all the different units that are available for the Harlequins. I'd like to keep that theme going. So we'll see which will be the most help. So first of all is light. So blaze of light is the characterization. Each time an attack is made against a unit with this characterization, if the attack model is more than 12 inches away, a modified hit roll of a 1 to 3 for that attack fails, irrespective of any abilities that the weapon the model making that attack may have. So we're off to a flying start here. We're going to cut out 50% of shots coming through here. I guess 1s miss anyway, but 2s and 3s to hit are going to fail. So it's a huge help, massive help. Each time a unit of this characterization makes a normal move or advances your movement phase in your shooting phase, that unit counts as having remained stationary. Right. This is all very good. Warlord trait then, so that's very strong. I can't see how that can be. Well, we'll see what happens. Warlord trait then, player of the light. This warlord is eligible to form heroic intervention at 6 inches, 5 inches vertically. And it's going to say that you can then make that move to make that up. Move up to 6. Yep. And each time this warlord fights, if it made a charge move or performed heroic intervention this turn, then until that fight is resolved, add 1 to strength and attacks as well. So yes, okay. Shadow Stone for the relic. A light Shadow Seer model only. Add 3 inches to the range of the bearer's aura abilities to a maximum of 9. And each time the bearer successfully manifests a psychic power from the Phantasmic discipline, add 3 inches to the range of that psychic power's effects. Then Capricious Reflections for the Stratagem. Use the stratagem in your opponent's charge phase and a light unit from your army selected as the target of a charge. If the unit is not within an engagement range of enemy units, it can make an all move up to 6 inches. Chance to back away. And that's a generous distance as well. Till the end of the phase, that unit cannot fire Overwatch or set to defend. Your opponent can then select a new target for the charge. But that's a very good tactical one, that one. Very strong tactical option. If you can remember it, because it's that heat of the moment. Flashing, an opportunity to go by in a flash, and if you forget the stratagem then you miss out. Dark characterization, dark deeds. So each time model this unit characterization is destroyed by a melee attack, if that model has not fought this phase, do not remove it from play, it gets to fight. Okay. And each time model this characterization makes a melee attack, improve the AP characteristic of that attack by 1. That's also very powerful as well, and that is not even if you charge, it's just all the time. Gosh, strong. Yeah, I don't know about that. Oh. Tough choices here. Warlord trait is player. Both are very strong. Both are very, very good. I think Harlequin players are going to end up experimenting and see what works best, but you're not going to do too wrong by either of those. Each time, player of the dark. Each time this warlord makes a melee attack on an unmodified wound roll of a 5+, the target suffers a mortal wound in addition to any normal damage. That's very, very strong as well. It's any melee attack at any point. Yeah, that's brilliant. It's about one of the strongest starts to a codex I've seen. Harlequins, right. Relic, the Ghoul Mask. Dark model only. In your opponent's psychic phase, the bearer can attempt to deny 1 psychic power as if it were a psyker. If the bearer is a psyker, the bearer can attempt to deny 1 additional psychic power. Okay, and the bearer has the following ability. Hideous Form, it's an aura ability. Whilst an enemy unit is in 3 inches, you loses objective secured. Ha! Interesting, not seen that before. And then the Silken Knife Stratagem. For 1 CP, use your stratagem at the start of the charge phase, select 1 enemy unit. At the end of that phase, each time that enemy unit is selected as the target of a charge by a dark unit, that enemy unit cannot fire Overwatch or set to defense. That's tactically useful as well. Both of these are very, very strong. Next is Twilight. So Twilight Falls. Each time a unit of this characterization fights, if it made a charge move, was charged, or performed heroic intervention this turn, then it gets an extra attack. So that's fine, that's just like Frozen Stars. And then each time model this characterization makes a piling or consolidation move, it can move an additional 2. So extra attack on the charge is strong enough. Warlord trait, player of the Twilight. Whilst the Warlord is on the battlefield, each time you or your opponent spends any command points, roll 1d6. On a 6, you gain the command point. Whilst the Warlord is on the battlefield, each time you roll 4 or more dice for a Luck of the Laughing God roll, you gain a command point. So command point harvesting, which is great. The Twilight Fangs. This is like Frozen Styles across here. I'm recognising some of this stuff. The Twilight Fang is for the Troop Master Aeldari Power Sword, replacement of +2 strength, 8 -3 and 2 damage. And you get, it's the same rules as before. So you get extra attacks based on the current battle round number. Yeah, so if it's turn 3, you get an extra 3 attacks. And Malicious Frenzy, this is Frozen Styles again. Use a stratagem when a Twilight unit from your army is selected to fight. Each time model that unit makes an attack, an unmodified hit roll of 6 auto wounds the target. So it used to be +1 to the wound rolls, I believe, but it's auto wounds now coming through. So useful. It's particularly useful against high toughness targets, like if you're going in against tanks, you're struggling to wound, like strength 4 and it's toughness 8 or something. 6 is going to pop auto wounds to hit, which helps for sure. So that's 1 CP for that one. This is all very, very good here. This is excellent. So Harlequin's bit glass hammer, need a bit of help, and so there's no way they're going to get tough units, so they've got to evade damage in other ways by evasion and trickery and hiding and so on, making use of terrain features, and so there is help coming through here, especially for light. Very good indeed, so I'm impressed with that. So we've gone through, there's a few where Harlequins are mentioned, so I'll call them out here because it's just to keep them all in the same video. So there's the Great Enemy, so we're rolling hit and wound rolls against Slaanesh. Harlequins get that. Lightning fast reactions, Harlequins get that. So that's -1 to hit roll when you're targeted in combat or shooting. Blade Storm, Harlequins get that as well. Shuriken weapons pop extra hits. Don't know, you're going to use that too much, maybe if you've got a large unit of bikers with shuriken cannons or something like that. Then we are looking for any others. Yeah, extra Warlord trait, extra relics, Harlequins can do that. Then just looking down here, Feigned Retreat. So Harlequins get this. So you can pay 1 CP to, you can select that unit to be eligible to shoot this turn or eligible to declare a charge, or both. If you do one or the other, it costs 1 CP. If you do both, it costs 2. So it's an excellent stratagem, vital, that one, and the Harlequins get it. Fire and Fade is also available for the Harlequins, so you do your shooting and you can immediately make a 7-inch move. Particularly useful, another good tactical option. Yep. And then according to this, it's 2 CP. Unless that unit is a Harlequins unit, it cannot embark in a transport. So I'm taking it for Harlequins, they can jump back inside transport vehicles as well. Phantasm, so that's the redeploy of models or units. Harlequins can do that. And the Webway Strike is reinforcements coming in more than 9 inches away, and so on. Harlequins get that. Harlequins bikers, infantry. And we're just looking, that's it. And then we flip over and then you've got 2-page spread of Harlequin stratagems here. So you've seen about half a dozen there of ones that Aeldari and Harlequins get access to, and now you've got all of these for the Harlequins as well, plus the ones that you've seen for the characterizations as well. So there's plenty of stratagems available. We'll see what ones have carried on over from the previous book, which ones are new and so on, and see how many of these are good. War Dancers is still in. So Prismatic Blur, 2 CP. Ouch. Use a stratagem in your movement phase when Harlequin's infantry unit from your army advances more than 8. Until the start of your next command phase, models in that unit have a 3+ invulnerable save. So, okay, well, so it's only infantry now. So, yeah, on that one. Segarak's Jest. 1 or 2 CP. Use a stratagem in your opponent's movement phase. When an enemy unit with engage at range of a Harlequin's infantry unit from your army falls back. As after the enemy unit has finished the move, select one Harlequin's infantry unit from your army that was within engage at range of that enemy unit. The selected unit can either consolidate up to 6 inches or shoot as if it were the shooting phase. If the selected unit shoots, it can only target that enemy unit. If the selected unit consolidates, it costs 2 CP, otherwise it's 1. So 1 command point to as the opponent pulls away from you, it's a chance to shoot at them. They've done it again, because they used to be able to do that with bikers. But it's specific here, it's infantry only. Okay, so yeah, the opponent, you might be able to get away from some of the pistol fire. I'm just wondering if they're able to fall back further than 6, they can get away from the fusion pistol shots maybe. Only infantry. Ah, no. So it was bikers. I used to like the idea of pulling away from the bikers, and then you could offload all the haywire cannon shots, for example. But here it's been brought back to infantry. But that's available. Virtuosos of the Webway. 1 CP. Use a stratagem at the end of the movement phase. Select one Harlequin's unit from your army that's not within engage range of any models. Remove that unit from the battlefield. It's placed into reserves. You can just disappear them away if you need to. Murderous Spectacle for 2 CP. Use a stratagem in your charge phase and Harlequin's infantry unit from your army makes a charge move. Until the end of the turn, add 1 to the damage characteristic of melee weapons they're equipped with. That is excellent, to a maximum of 3. But again, it's limited to infantry. They won't give it to the bikes. Interesting. But infantry get it. +1 damage. Excellent, excellent. Very, very good. 2 CP. War Dancers, 3 CP. This is specifically now for Harlequin's troop. You can fight again. You can only use a stratagem once per battle round. That's powerful. Very powerful. No price too steep. 2 CP. Use this stratagem in the fight phase. When a Harlequin's character model from your army that has not already been selected to fight this phase is destroyed, do not remove it, so it gets to fight. If that model is a solitaire model or was destroyed by a chaos unit until the end of the phase, add 1 to the model's attacks and strength characteristic. After resolving the model's attacks, it is then removed. So chance to only in death to duty end basically. Hero's Path for 1 CP. Use a stratagem at the start of your command phase. Select 1 Troop Master model from your army that's on the battlefield and select 1 Death Jester or Shadow Seer model from your army. Until the end of the turn, add 2 inches to the movement characteristic, and each time a charge roll is made for the selected models, add 1 to the result. Yeah, so that's alright. So some of the previous ones are there, but some limitations have been added to them, and bikers are sort of out of it at this point. Interesting. Torments of the Fiery Pit. Use a stratagem in the fight phase when a Harlequin's character model, excluding solitaire models from your army, has lost any wounds is selected to fight until the end of the phase. Add 1 to the strength and attacks. +1 strength and attack. Yes, okay, so not that amazing. Then Dramatic Entrance. Use a stratagem. Yeah, I'm just looking down here. Harlequin's infantry. Harlequin's infantry. Yeah, there's not much to help the bikers here. Probably some of the previous ones we looked at that were both for Eldar and Harlequins, those will help bikers. But most of these are for the infantry. Dramatic Entrance, 1 CP. Use a stratagem in the Heroic Intervention step of your opponent's charge phase. Select 1 Harlequin's infantry unit from your army. They can perform a Heroic Intervention. And it's 6 inches horizontally and 5 inches vertically, and they can move that distance to get in. Favoured of the Laughing God for 1 CP. Use a stratagem after nominating Harlequin's model, exclude named characters to be your warlord. That model gains 1 additional warlord trait. The Curtain Falls for 1 CP. Use a stratagem in the fight phase after a Harlequin's infantry unit from your army has finished making its attacks, but before it makes a consolidation move. Instead of consolidating as normal, if every model in that unit is within 6 inches of a friendly transport vehicle, then you can get back on. Okay. Mocking Laughter, sounds like a new one, 1 CP. Use a stratagem at the start of the morale phase. Select 1 enemy unit within 12 inches of a Death Jester from your army. Your opponent cannot select that unit for the Insane Bravery stratagem. Nor can they use any rule that would let them reroll a morale test for that unit. Wow, that's interesting. And then if a morale test is taken, if a morale test for that unit is failed, any action is failed as well. Interesting. Quite a good one. Haywire Charges, 1 CP. Use a stratagem in your shooting phase when the Harlequin's Haywire Grenade unit from your army is selected to shoot. Select one model in that unit. That model can make only one attack. If it targets an enemy vehicle within 6 inches of it, and the hit is scored, it's D3 mortal wounds. No. Okay. Could have been, should have been maybe 2d3 on that one, just to up the damage, keeping in line with other stuff that's been upped in damage. I think the fire dragons, their charge, fusion charges or something it's called, is 2d3 damage, mortal wounds. Kiss of Death, 1 CP. Use the stratagem in the fight phase when Harlequin's Kiss unit is selected to fight. Until the fight is resolved, each time model that unit makes a melee attack, an unmodified wound roll of 6 inflicts a mortal wound on the target in any addition to any normal damage. The unit can only suffer a maximum of 6 mortal wounds per phase due to the stratagem. A unit cannot be selected for this stratagem and the Oblivion's Caress stratagem in the same phase. So next is Oblivion's Caress, 2 CP for this one. Use the stratagem in the fight phase when Harlequin's Caress unit is selected to fight. Until the fight is resolved, each time model that unit makes a melee attack, invulnerable saving throws cannot be made for that attack. The unit cannot be selected for this stratagem and the Kiss of Death stratagem. So you're going to cut out the invuln save. So we are seeing this again. I did sort of predict that we've seen the ability to scrub in 1 or 2 instances with the Tau, the ability to bypass invuln saves. Eldar have it with the fire prisms, and now Harlequins have it here. And just sort of just a one-off opportunity that they can do it with Harlequin's Caress. So I imagine we're going to see this in future codexes as well. It's just, it seems to be that Games Workshop trying to introduce something that breaks, there's some way of breaking an invuln save that each codex can do it somehow. So it's not happening all the time, like you can't take 10 hammerheads for your Tau, but there is that possibility of doing it if you need to. And so that's, find that interesting. It's just it seems to be to break some way to break the invuln save that's being introduced here to these newer codexes. But that's fascinating that the invuln save can be broken in a very powerful way here. Wow, a deadly embrace for 1 CP. Use a stratagem after a Harlequin's embrace unit from your army makes a charge move or performs heroic intervention. Select one enemy unit, excluding vehicles and monsters, within engagement range of the unit. Roll 1d6 for each model in that Harlequin's embrace unit. Each 4+, the enemy suffers a mortal wound to a maximum of 6 mortal wounds. So yeah, it's limited to you can't do it on vehicles or monsters, and it's each model is a 4+. So I'm much preferring these two combos, the Caress and the Kiss. The Embrace not so much, but those two look more powerful. So then this is Exarch powers for the Eldar. Okay, now we go to Harlequins. Pivotal roles then, just upgrades that you can do for your characters like Shadow Seers, Solitaires, and so on. So if your army's battle forge includes any detachments, you can upgrade your characters. So we'll just move down to here. So each time you upgrade a Harlequin's character model in your army, its power rating is increased by 1. The points limit's listed below. Crusade, yeah. So we'll go straight onto these then, your upgrades that you can do for your characters. So first up is Troop Masters. There's 3 options to go for, similar structure to what we've seen with the Eldar. So Prince of Light, Queen of Shards, and Veiled King. So Prince of Light's 20 points, Queen of Shards 25, and Veiled King's 20 points. So Prince of Light's an aura ability, whilst a friendly ZF core unit is within 6 inches of this model. Each time a charge roll is made for that unit, add 1 to the result. Yeah, okay, so for 20 points. Okay, Queen of Shards. Each time this model makes a melee attack on unmodified wound roll of 5+, invuln save throws cannot be made against that attack. That's excellent. There's another way to break an invuln save here. Queen of Shards, 25 points. Okay, and then Veiled King. Each time this model makes a melee attack, unless that target is a vehicle or monster, modified wound roll of a 2+ is always successful. And that's excellent as well, and that's 20 points for that. So it sounds a bit steep, but those 2 ones there, Queen of Shards and Veiled King, they are powerful enough where you could break tougher units of those. Death Jesters then. So Harvester of Torment 15 points, Lord of Crystal Bones 20 points, or Rift Ghoul 20 points. So Harvester of Torment, each time this model makes a ranged attack, unmodified hit rolls a 6, score 3 additional hits. Nice. 6 is pop 3. Yeah, it really is quite good, that one. Lord of Crystal Bones, each time this model shoots, if any hits are scored, unless the target is a vehicle monster. So the start of your next turn, subtract 2 for movement characteristic. And then the target cannot fire Overwatch or set to defend. So that's okay, it's 20 points for that. And the Rift Ghoul. Each time this model makes an attack, the target doesn't receive the benefit of cover, and a modified wound roll of 4+, the attack inflicts a mortal wound in addition to normal damage. That's 20 points for that. It's not bad, the 4+ mortal wounds is pretty good. Next is the Solitaire. Plan to run one of these. Prince of Sins 20 points, Spectre of Despair 15 points, or Thirsting Darkness for 20. So Prince of Sins then. So each time an attack is made against this model, it's -1 to hit him, and that attack's hit roll cannot be re-rolled. Nice, that'll help keep him alive. Increase the chances of that. Spectre of Despair. During deployment you must set up this model haunting the foe. Instead of setting it up on the battlefield in the reinforcement step of one of your movement phases, you can set this model up on the battlefield that's 1 9 inches away from any enemy models. Each time a charge roll is made with this model, roll 1 additional d6 and discard 1 of the dice. So 3d6 choosing the best 2. And Thirsting Darkness. I like that one there because he does get cut down a fair bit previously, so that would increase the chances of him staying alive. Thirsting Darkness. Each time this model advances, do not make an advance roll, it's a guaranteed 6 inches. And each time this model piles in and consolidates, it's an extra 3 as well. I go for Prince of Sins, I think. Shadow Seers, Agent of Pandemonium, 30 points. Gloom Spider, 20 points. Mirror Architect, 25. So Agent of Pandemonium, it's an aura ability. An enemy unit within 6 inches, subtract 1 from attacks characteristics. Yeah, okay. Unique circumstances for that. Okay, could be useful. And then Gloom Spider, in your command phase, select one enemy unit within 12 inches of this model. Until the start of your next command phase, enemy units cannot benefit from that enemy unit's aura abilities. And Mirror Architect, while a friendly SEDEF unit is within 3 inches of this model, each time an enemy unit is selected to shoot, when measuring the range to any model in that SEDEF unit, that model in the SEDEF unit is considered to be an additional 6 inches away from the shooting model. So that's similar to the original ability of them, one of the abilities that they had, the one that I ran on mine, just to count as being extra. So bolter range then really becomes range. You'd have to get within range 18 to get it, I think, something like that, instead of range 24. So it can help, just some of the initial shots coming through. But yeah, just trickery to protect these. There's multiple layers to it. So we've got Harlequins, chapter approved. So we'll have a little look here at the options that are available, not from the field menu. I need the Neckman book here. So, no mercy, no respite. So the options from the usual book is no prisoners, grind them down to the last. Then you've got the specific ones here: Path of Destruction for Chaos Knights, Malefic Tower, Chaos Demons, Long War, Chaos Space Marines, and Synaptic Insight for Tyranids. So, no mercy, no respite. A deadly performance. At the end of your turn, score 3 victory points if 2 or more of the following conditions apply. So, first of all, Harlequin's unit from your army controls an objective marker that you did not control at the start of this turn. So you get that on turn 1. Game's quite fluid, it's going to happen a fair bit, so fair enough. Next, Harlequin's unit from your army is wholly within your opponent's deployment zone. Fine. 2 or more enemy units were destroyed by an attack made with a ranged weapon. Or 3 or more units were destroyed made by an attack from a melee weapon. Okay, so 3 points a time. Yep, quite doable and quite appealing to the other options that are available. So yes, I think that's a pretty good one. Next one's Battlefield Supremacy. Because you're just sort of getting points for getting points for what you're doing anyway. Moving about, capturing objectives and killing things. So those kind of secondaries are useful enough because you're doing that anyway as you play the game. Battlefield supremacy. So behind enemy lines, engage in all fronts, stranglehold, yield no ground for Imperial Knights. So take your places. If you select this secondary objective, after both sides have finished deploying, you must set up one additional objective marker in your opponent's deployment zone. Then your opponent must set up one additional objective marker in your deployment zone. And one additional objective marker within 6 inches of the centre of the battlefield. These objective markers cannot be set up within 9 inches of each other, within 6 inches of a battlefield edge, or within an inch of another objective marker. These take your places objective markers represent the positions that must be taken up by the Harlequins for their performance, but do not count as objective markers for any rules purposes. At the end of your turn, you score 2 victory points if you control 2 of these take your places objective markers. At the end of your turn, you score 4 victory points if you control all 3. Interesting. Yeah, very thematic. Yeah, that's a fascinating one they've come up with there. 2, so if you control your home objective in the middle ground, it's worth 2 each turn. Whoa, yeah. Okay. If you're an aggressive player and you plan on smashing right through to the opponent's deployment zone, that would suit quite well. Warpcraft then. So that's just psychic rituals and so on. From there, the option to go with the Harlequin specific one here is Weave Veil. If you select this objective, then Shadowseer models from your army can attempt the following psychic action as described in the 40K core book. So Weave Veil, it's warp charge value of 4. One Shadowseer model from your army can attempt to perform this psychic action in your psychic phase if it's within 12 inches of an enemy unit that has not yet been veiled by your army. If the psychic action is successfully completed, select one enemy unit that has not yet been veiled by your army and is within 12 inches of the Shadowseer that completed the action. That enemy unit is said to have been veiled by your army, and the warp charge value of the psychic action is increased by 1 for your army for the remainder of the battle. Score 3 victory points each time a unit from your army completes the Weave Veil psychic action. Okay, and do it over 3 turns, you get 9 points. Got to get within 12 to do it though. Tricky enough. Yeah, tricky enough that one. I think Deadly Performance would be a pretty standard option to go for. So we're on Relics. And yeah, so this is Eldar. And then Harlequins, look, they get just as many. So we'll cover their Relics next. So far things are looking strong enough for the Harlequins. I think they're going to be a decent enough army. If you know your rules well, all your buffs and bonuses and protective measures you can take, I think they'll be a frustrating army to play against. The one that can strike hard as well. The Storage Sword. Harlequins with Aeldari Power Sword only. So it becomes +2 strength, -3 and 2 damage. And its auto hits against the target. Close combat. Suit of Hidden Knives. Harlequin's model. At the end of the fight phase, the bearer can make 3 additional melee attacks. These attacks cannot target Titanic units. When resolving these attacks, each time a hit is scored, it's a mortal wound. Suit of Hidden Knives, very cool. Kicking out mortal wounds. Crescendo next. Replaces the Shuriken pistol. Range 12, pistol 6, strength 4, -3 and 2 damage. And it's Shuriken ability. Nasty pistol. Good Relics is strong Relics. Segarax Rose, Harlequin's model with a kiss. It becomes +2 strength, -2 and 3 damage. And you can reroll wounds. And you get the Harlequin's kiss keyword. The Star Mist Raiment Harlequin's model. Each time an attack is made against the bearer, the attack's hit roll and wound roll cannot be rerolled. And once per battle in your command phase, you can declare that the bearer will mimic Alios. If you do, until the start of your next command phase, you've got 3+ invuln save. And the Laughing God's Eye, Harlequin's model only. The bearer has the following ability. The Laughing God's Eye, with friendly Harlequins units within 6 inches of this model. Each time model in that unit would lose wound as a result of a mortal wound. Roll 1d6. The 5+ the wound is not lost. So yeah, fine. Relics look strong. What's all this? Oh, that's all Eldar. Then we'll go to Warlord traits, and Harlequins have 3 to choose from here, as well as the ones that we've seen for the Sedefs, the 3 Light, Dark, and Twilight. There's Warlord traits in there, but there's some standard ones. Here's 3 options. So, favoured of Segarac here. Once per turn, when you make a hit roll, wound roll, save and throw for this Warlord. After making the roll, you can treat the result as an unmodified roll of a 6 instead. Nice. Yeah, cool. Fractal Storm. Each time an attack is made against this warlord, your opponent cannot re-roll the hit roll, the wound roll, or the damage roll for that attack. That's across the board. Yeah. Any kind of attack, so shooting, melee, all attacks cannot be re-rolled for hitting, or wounding, or damage. That's crazy. Really good. And then a foot in the future. Each time this warlord advances, do not make a roll. It's a d3 plus 3 inches. And each time you make a charge roll, you add 6 to the result. What? What? 6 inches. Each time you make a charge roll for this warlord, you can add 6 to the result. So 2d6 plus 6 charge. That is insane. Psychic Discipline. So 6 options here. Phantasmancy Discipline here for the Harlequins. So Twilight Pathways. It's a warp charge value of 6. If manifested, select one friendly Sedef core or character unit within 6 inches of the Psyker. This unit can immediately make a normal move, advance or fall back. You can't charge, but you get to make an extra move. Excellent. It's a great tactical help there. Fog of Dreams. Warp charge value of 6. If manifested, select one Sedef core character unit within 12 to the start of the next psychic phase. That unit can be selected as a target of a ranged attack. Can only be selected as a target of a ranged attack if it's the closest eligible target for the attack or is within 12 inches of the shooting model. So you can just try and veil a unit and protect it quite effectively, actually. Mirror of Minds. Yeah, so that's particularly useful. Very good. And then Mirror of Minds, warp charge value of 7. If manifested, select one enemy unit within 18 inches of the Psyker. That enemy unit suffers d3 mortal wounds and roll off with your opponent. If you win or draw that roll off, the enemy unit suffers a mortal wound. Repeat the process. Repeat the roll off process to leave the enemy unit has suffered 6 mortal wounds. Or that enemy unit is destroyed, or your opponent wins the roll off. That's got stronger. That's great. So you get your normal d3 mortal wounds, and there's a chance of topping it up to add extra on top. Brilliant. No, that's good, that one. Veil of Tears. There's a warp charge value of 7. If manifested, select one enemy unit of an 18 invisible to the Psyker and to the start of the next psychic phase. Models in that enemy unit cannot target Sedef units from your army that are more than 18 inches away with ranged attacks. Strange one, that one, but another good one. Psychic powers helping to shut stuff down, protect and veil and so on. So useful for sure. Shards of Light next. Warp charge value of 6. Select an enemy unit of an 18 invisible to the Psyker. The enemy unit takes a mortal wound. If it's a vehicle or monster unit or a unit that contains 6 or more models, it's d3 mortal wounds. Until the start of the next psychic phase, subtract 2 from the leadership characteristics of models in that unit. So that's okay. Webway Dance. It's a warp charge value of 7. Gains the following ability. Webway Dance Aura. Whilst the friendly Sedef unit is within 6 inches, each time a model in that unit would lose a wound. It's a 6 up, feel no pain. So yeah, that would help if you're clustering a lot of units together. Usually I cluster together at the start of the game. Then before we get around to the psychic phase, at the start of the battle, the units have moved out and doing their own things. I wouldn't use that, I don't think, too much. Eldar. This is your Crusade rules, which I won't cover. I'll just move through that. We'll keep going. And we're going to get stuck into the units here. So go and just check out the Aeldari Codex review for all of this stuff here. Right, so we've got to get our heads round Harlequin data sheets. So there's abilities here. Harlequin's Panoply, Rising Crescendo, and then Luck of the Laughing God, the new stuff that's been introduced here as well. So what we'll do is we'll go through these and then we'll get stuck into the units here. And some I'll cover some of the points values as well. So Harlequin's Panoply here. Models in this unit have a 4+ invulnerable save. Yeah. Just looking. I take it they just get it across the board. Yeah. So, yeah, so just have a little look. I guess these videos are to help you preemptively get your head round the codexes before they arrive and to get a grasp of what's going on. Okay. So, yeah, I'm just looking to see what they get. Yeah. So, not all of them get it. Some get an in-run save in a different manner, such as the bikers. I just looked at those. But Harlequins panoply, the infantry getting it here. The troop. So 4+ in-run save, so they're keeping that. They're on that before. Each time this unit makes an all move, advances, falls back, or makes a charge move, till the move is finished, models in that unit can move horizontally through models and terrain features. They cannot finish a move on top of another model or its base. So like the flip belt type rules. And each time a melee attack is made against this unit, it's -1 to the hit rolls. It's hard to hit, a bit harder to hit them in close combat as well. So they've improved in that regard a little bit. Then you've got Rising Crescendo. So now your troop gets that. For example, this unit is eligible to declare a charge in the turn in which it advanced. This unit is eligible to shoot and declare a charge in the turn in which it fell back. So there's that same tactical flexibility, which is the hallmark of the Harlequins. They're keeping all this stuff, which is excellent. So advance and charge, and fall back, shoot and charge. Fantastic. So then we move on to this next bit here, Luck of the Laughing Gods. If every unit from your army has the Harlequin's keyword and is performing the same as set F, excluding units with the underlying keyword, at the start of each battle round, you gain a number of luck rerolls depending on the size of the battle. So we play Strike Force, you get 3. And it'll tell you what you can use them for. Yeah. So I'll just jump to that bit. It says each luck reroll can be used to reroll a hit roll, a wound roll, a damage roll, a saving throw, or an advanced roll made for a unit with the Luck of the Laughing God ability. And then if you don't use any at the end of the battle round, you just lose them. And then in addition, so as well as that standard amount that you get, so Strike Force size is going to get 3. In addition, you can make a Luck of the Laughing God roll to try to increase the number of luck rerolls gained. To do so, roll up to 6d6. If every result is unique, gain a number of additional luck rerolls equal to the number of d6 rolled. Yes, if you rolled all 6, you'd have to score on the dice 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So yeah, it's possible, but exceptionally unlikely. You'd be safer rolling sort of 2 dice. Yeah. Roll up to 6. So you could, for example, just not take the risk and just say I'm going to roll 1 dice and it's guaranteed to be unique because there's no other dice, so you just get the extra 1. You'd be pretty safe on 2. You'd just be looking to not get a double. And you could push your luck to roll 3 dice, but beyond that, it's looking quite unlikely. Yeah, so most players will just roll 3 dice, I would imagine, 2 or 3. So anyway, that's straightforward enough. I can't say that's not very complicated really. You can get used to that. It's just get into the habit of doing it. Keep a marker, and Harlequin players will be more than happy to have those rerolls available. Very, very helpful. So you've got layers of protection, avoiding stuff, using stratagems to move away from stuff. Rerolls now available. Minus to the hit rolls available. So it's a tricky business trying to get a hold of the Harlequins here in a fight, so it's all good. So I think I need to just shift all the way to the back of the units. Yeah, and so I'll make our start here with the Troop Master. So not going to go through every single stat line on these. I'll just keep a lookout to see what's remained the same, what's changed. So you've got your Troop Master. Call out some points values. So I'll call that here. Look, so you've got the Shadow Series, 100 points, and 5 points for Neuro Disruptor. Troop Master, 75 points. Then you can give him a Power Sword for 5 points, Fusion Pistol 5 points, Harlequin's Caress, Embrace and Kiss is 10 points, Neuro Disruptor's 5. A troop is 13 points per model, but then it's 5 points for any of the upgrades. So the Aeldari Power Sword, yeah, yikes, 5 points. Fusion Pistol's 5 points, And then the Caress, Embrace, Kiss or Disruptors, they're all 5 points a time. So basically going back up to 18 points. Perhaps more if you're taking multiple, like pistol and close combat weapon. For elites, the Death Jester's 55 points straight, that's cheap. Solitaire's 110. Skyweavers are 45 points each. I think they're around about that last time. And then Skyweaver Haywire Cannons are 5 points, and the Zifferglaves 5 points as well. So they're 55 points a time. Boy, oh boy, they are expensive. The Void Weavers are about the same as what they were, 90 points. And the Star Weaver, 80 points. The transport vehicle. No further points values there, so I guess that you're incorporating the double shuriken cannons and so on. So for Troop Master then, movement 8 here across these infantry units. Weapon skill, ballistic skill 2+. Is a 5-wing model with 6 attacks as base. You can imagine the relics of all traits you can start stacking on top of this model to get something really good. A few of the weapons I'll call out here. So the Fusion Pistol now has range 6. Pistol 1, strength 8, -4, and it's just a straight d6 +2 damage, whatever distance it is, it's just always d6 +2. The Neuro Disruptor I think is improved. Range 12 for this pistol. Strength 6, -3, 1 damage. Each time an attack is made with this weapon, if a hit is scored, unless the target is a vehicle, the target suffers a mortal wound and the attack sequence ends. So that's not too scary, but if you had multiple Neuro Disruptors and you just pop in mortal wounds against the target, like assassinating the character and so on, it's scary enough. Shuriken Pistols, AP -1 now. The Aeldari Power Sword, +1 strength, AP -3, 1 damage. The Harlequin's Blade is you get an extra attack and AP -1. And then it is strange that they've done this. Yeah, the way they've done it, so the Caress, the Embrace and the Kiss are now all the same. So they're all +1 strength, they're all AP -2 and they're all 2 damage across the board. So there's no real difference with them at all anymore, which I don't know about that. I guess the difference is with the stratagems, that's where you can make them unique in what they're doing, so that's the way they're playing it. And then this model's Shuriken Pistol can be replaced with, so it's fine, Embrace Power Swords, okay, so that's your abilities. Troop Master's weapons. So if this model is equipped with a Harlequin's Kiss, it has the Harlequin's Kiss keyword. Let's talk about the keywords as fine as you gain access to the stratagems. And Choreographer of War. While a friendly Harlequin's core unit is within 6 inches of this model, each time an attack is made by that model in that unit, you can reroll wound rolls of 1. So it used to be +1 to the wound rolls, I think, or rerolling wounds entirely, but it's just rerolling wound rolls of 1 now. So really, the Troop Master, rerolling wound rolls of 1 is okay, but I think the main use for him is to make him into some kind of killy type unit. So max him out with a good warlord trait and a decent relic and play him that way. Because it's a good foundation, there's 6 attacks basic and so on. Okay. Next, Shadow Seer, obviously making the most of the psychic powers. There's 4 attacks, this one, 5 wounds. The Hallucinogen Grenade Launcher, range 18, assault D3, is a blast weapon. Each time an attack is made with this weapon, if a hit is scored, roll 2d6. If the result is greater than the leadership, target takes a mortal wound. So each hit, so you could get 3 hits and you're going to roll up 3 times to get the mortal wounds. And then the Mist Stave, +3 strength, is 5 strength 6, AP -1 and D3 damage. So it does have an aura ability, Shield from Harm. Whilst a friendly Harlequin's core or character unit is within 6 inches of this model, each time an attack is made against that unit, it's -1 to the wound roll. Wow! Okay, it won't protect vehicles though, so it's core or characters. It can manifest 2 psychic powers and deny 1. So Shadow Seer seems okay. Next is your standard Harlequin troop. I usually run 3 of these, 3 units of 5 or 6 inside the transport vehicles and load them up nicely. I think they've pretty much kept the same stat line as before. Still movement 8. You do get a lead player in the squad who's got an extra wound, and they all come with 4 attacks as base. Okay, they come with plasma grenades, which is not on here. No. I imagine the plasma grenade hasn't changed. We'll just take a quick look. Just to see. No, it hasn't changed. It is a blast weapon though. So I think most grenades are. I guess it's range 6, grenade D6, strength 4, -1 damage. It's already changed on that one. And we've covered all these weapons already. Okay, so we want to look to see how you can equip these units. Perhaps gone are the days of giving all the models fusion pistols. So if any model's Harlequin's blade can be replaced with a Harlequin's kiss. Fine, so you give them Harlequin's kisses across the board. The lead player's Harlequin's blade can be replaced with one Aeldari power sword. So if this unit contains 10 or fewer models, so my squad of 6 for example, up to 2 models can take their shuriken pistols can be replaced with a Neuro Disruptor. Up to 2 models can take a fusion pistol. Up to 2 models can be replaced with Harlequin's Caress. And up to 2 models can be replaced with Harlequin's Embrace. Oh. Okay. It's interesting loadouts here. And if it's 11 or more models, then it's up to 4 each time. Okay, so mixed weaponry by the looks of it here. You have to think about the different combinations for that one, what works best. Okay. And then Harlequin weapons. So it talks about models gaining keywords. And that's it for them. Next is the Death Jester. It's a 5 wound model with 5 attacks. All 2 pluses on weapons and ballistic skill. The Shrieker Cannon now is range 30. Assault 3, strength 6, -2 and 2 damage. It's a shuriken weapon and it ignores Look Out Sir. It's a pretty good sniper against characters. He's got the Jester's blade. Guess that blade on the end of his Shrieker Cannon. +1 strength, vapor -1, so a little bit of fight for him in close combat, a little bit. And then death is not enough. Each model that is destroyed by an attack made by this model counts as 2 in the morale phase. And then the Solitaire. 12-inch move. It's a 5 wound model, I think it was 5 previously. 8 attacks as base. The Solitaire's weapons is +2 strength, vapor -3 and 2 damage. He has a 3+ invulnerable, so he's kept that. The Path of Damnation can never have a relic or wall or trait. And Blitz. Once per battle in your movement phase, instead of making a normal move, this model can make a Blitz move. If it does so, at the end of your turn, add 2d6 to this model's move characteristic and add 2 to this model's attacks characteristic. Okay, so that's him. Okay, so he's alright. I'm just trying to see where the main threat here is for the Harlequins. I think I'm getting the impression I should stick with the spread of everything. So Skyweavers here, I think they've gone up in their attacks. They're now 4 attacks as base, which is great. Which is really good. 3 wounds each, 4 up save, 16-inch move. So your options then, it's going to cost you an extra 5 points to take the Ziffer Glaive. I think I will. It's +2 strength, hasn't really changed I don't think. +2 strength, vapor -2 and 2 damage. And then you're going to pay extra 5 points as well if you're going to take the Haywire Cannon. So it has changed here. It's range 24. It's not really an issue because you can move so quick. Heavy D3 +1. So, you know, like my squads of 5 I think I was running, you're guaranteed to get at least 10 shots from that because it's, you know, it's +1, and then the heavy, the minimum you're going to score on the D3 is 1. But you're averaging about 3 shots. I guess the average is 3 shots. So about 15 shots are going to come from my squad, of which I'm going to get 10 hits. So we'll see what happens. Strength 3, -3 and D3 damage. So it's a blast weapon. Each time an attack is made with this weapon against a vehicle unit, a modified wound roll of 4+ is always successful. So of those 10 rolls to wound, on average I'll pass 5. So now I've got 5 4+ to wound rolls. An unmodified wound roll of a 6 inflicts D3 mortal wounds on the target in addition to any normal damage. So let's say of those 5 wounds that come through, one of them is a 6. So I've scored D3 mortal wounds, so that's 2 mortal wounds straight away on average, just trying to average everything out. And then the opponent's also then got to make 5 saves of normal tank of 6+. Say they block 1, so that will be 4d3 damage. So your average damage will be about 10 wounds. So you should pop an average vehicle with 1 round of firepower, but the cost of that unit will be about 275, even more, about 300 point unit. Yeah, boy, oh boy. So I don't know, I'm worrying here that the haywire has taken a bit of a hit. It's not that as scary as it was. Don't know, it'd be fascinating to hear comments on this one. The haywire cannon, if it's been nerfed a little bit. Trying to wound on 4+. Yeah, and the opponent's still got a chance to block. And your damage coming through is just D3, it's quite tame. Okay. Your other option is a shuriken cannon. Heavy 3, strength 6, -1/2 damage, shuriken. You got star bowlers. So these have improved. Star bowlers, range 12, assault D3. It is a blast weapon. It's useful against larger units. Strength 7, -3 and 2 damage. So any number of the models can have their shuriken cannon replaced by a haywire cannon, and any number can take the Ziffer glaive. Hollow suit, 4+ invulnerable save across the board for these units, these models, and Harlequin's mask. Each time a melee attack is made against the units, -1 to the hit roll. The mirage launchers, each time an attack is made against this unit, that attack's hit roll cannot be re-rolled. And Ride Like the Wind, a guaranteed 6-inch move. So bikers, yeah, they're okay. I think they're alright. Yeah, but it's a grinding process to get rid of vehicles. You're quite limited, seriously limited on the number of mortal wounds that you can cause. Okay, and then Void. I worry about Harlequin firepower. Yeah, tricky stuff with these. Void Weavers. So, just the stat line for the vehicle. Movement 16, toughness 5, 6 wounds, 4 up save. So, the prismatic cannon. So you choose which profile you're going to go for. So the focused lance now is range 36, heavy 2. Strength 12, -4 and 2d3 damage. That's actually quite a potent weapon. Or you can go for dispersed pulse of heavy 3d3. So you're averaging about 6 shots. Strength 5, -3, but only 1 damage. And it's a blast weapon. You can take shuriken cannons, the Void Weaver haywire cannon. Now this is actually a heavier caliber weapon than the bikers. So range 24, heavy 2d3, so about 4 shots on average. Strength 4, -3, 3 damage. So straight 3 damage as opposed to d3. Again, it's a blast weapon. 4+ to wound against vehicles. And 6 pops, d3 mortal wounds. Oh boy. I like the Void Weaver haywire cannon. I like both. So Void Weavers are going to have their place, I think. There's a pretty good gunboat, actually. Mirage launchers, -1 to the hit roll. And the hit roll cannot be re-rolled. This is all good. 4+ invulnerable save as well. So Void Weavers, I think, will be useful enough, and they're quite cheap. Okay, and then the Star Weaver comes with the, just checking, you still get the 2 shuriken cannons. You got open topped, fine. 4 up invuln save. Mirage launchers and explodes. So Mirage launchers pretty good. So it's -1 to the hit roll straight up, and then there's no re-rolls allowed as well, which is really good. And I think that's going to apply for close combat as well. Yep. Okay, so that's it. That is the Harlequins done. That's all of their everything complete for those. So that's the review for the Harlequins. I think they should be okay. There's some strong stuff going on with them for sure. It seems to be the layers of rules will be their best asset. So clever choices in what light, twilight, dark you're going to go for. Choices of auras, war traits, psychic powers, stratagems will be key. So all these multiple factors I think will help protect the Harlequins for sure. It seems that their core base of units, the output from them has pretty much remained the same. So it's just the extra stuff that's been added I think will make them better. But the sort of the core rules for them, the actual units themselves, has pretty much remained as it is. I think the Harlequins will be alright for sure. Leave your own comments and suggestions if you think they've improved, got worse, or they're about the same. Be interesting to hear what other Harlequins players are saying, and if you think they've taken a big improvement or not. So leave it in the comment section below. Check out Goblin Gaming, link for them in the video description below. If you are going to head over to them for discount 40k and other gaming systems as well, then just use the link. You'll find it in the video descriptions, and it just helps the channel out in a small way, and it's much appreciated. But that's the review. Keep a lookout for more reviews on the channel. Do check out the Aeldari Codex review. It's a big review, but it's a big book, lots of units and so on. So you can check that out. It should be live on the channel as well. But that's the review. Thanks for watching, and tune in next time.